Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
I've got a story here a bunch of people sent me, including Robert. Thank you very much. And this is one of those stories about something where it sounds like this ought to be illegal, but the people in charge say it's technically not. California second grade teacher accused of teaching while drunk dodges charges because it wasn't illegal. So Christina Witropski wrote this for KRCR. A California elementary school teacher arrested for allegedly teaching while intoxicated will not face charges after authorities determined that such an action, technically speaking, is not against the law. The teacher, 57 years old, was arrested while teaching second grade at an elementary school in Live Oak back in the first week of October. A staff member alerted the sheriff's office of an employee who appeared to be drunk earlier that day, according to the LA Times. The teacher's blood alcohol level was reportedly twice the legal limit for driving at the time of her arrest, and officers discovered footage showing that she had driven to work that day. So that suggests that she may have driven to work while intoxicated, but of course we don't necessarily know that unless something showed up on camera to suggest that. So she originally faced potential charges of child endangerment and driving under the influence. However, the district attorney's office announced recently no charges will be formally filed because authorities could not determine whether she was under the influence while driving, nor find any specific information indicating the students in her class were, this is a quote, placed in a position where their persons or health were endangered. The mere potential that a situation could arise is insufficient to meet the requirements under the law, says the district attorney. While the office agrees that it is highly inappropriate to teach while intoxicated, it is unfortunately not illegal. So right now, people are scrambling to get legislation passed, making it illegal to teach while drunk in a public school. And also, I assume that a bunch of schools are looking at writing into rules saying that when you're teaching on our grounds, you cannot have alcohol in your system. The office added its decision holds no bearing on her employment status at the school. Crisis in the Classroom reached out to the elementary school to learn whether she is still employed with the district, but did not get a response. The teacher is currently not listed, however, on the school district's website. California residents expressed outrage over the decision. Writing on the district attorney's Facebook page, they are demanding accountability. And I'm not quite sure how anybody could determine if the people commenting on Facebook were residents of California. One commenter wrote, I just kept thinking of the what ifs. What if a child needed medical attention or there was a school intruder? She'd be completely incapable of helping and protecting our children. Unfortunately, the jury instruction, which of course is an encapsulation of the law, doesn't allow for charges based on the possibility. It requires us to prove that children actually were endangered. And I get a lot of people who ask me about things where they say, Steve, this almost happened. This almost happened. Can I file a lawsuit? And I go, well, this almost happened. You almost have a lawsuit. And so it is one of those things where if you would ask yourself before you heard the story, is there anything wrong with a teacher getting drunk and then going into a classroom? You say, of course there is. Of course there is. Okay, is it just morally wrong or do you think it's illegal? And most people go, I'd have to imagine that that's illegal. It's got to be illegal, isn't it? Doesn't it have to be? No, it turns out that nobody ever bothered to sit down and write that out. And so one of the things I have to point out here is that the writer of the article wrote that her blood alcohol level was reportedly twice the legal limit at the time of her arrest. And officers discovered footage showing that she drove to work that day. Twice the legal limit. But there is no limit for teachers. See, that's one of the things that a lot of people mistake, is they think that that legal limit applies to everything. No, it applies to when you're driving, okay? And so I've heard stories before where they say somebody blew this and it's twice the legal limit for driving. And that qualifier does need to be there because that's exactly the situation here, is they're alleging that she had a blood alcohol content that was twice the legal limit to drive, but at the moment that they were dealing with her, she wasn't driving, she was teaching. And I agree that teachers shouldn't be drinking on the job. And, you know, what's unfortunate is you have to imagine there's something else crazy going on in the background here, right? Like this person probably is going through something that causes them to drink before they go in to teach children, right? Second grade class. I may have mentioned this before, but a long, long time ago, I had a job where a coworker was drinking on the job. And I'll admit it was not exactly, rocket assembly for the space program, what we were doing. But this person had hidden some alcohol and would occasionally sneak off and fill their coffee cup with alcohol. And one of my coworkers pointed out that, smell that, that ain't coffee. And as the day would progress, this person would get drunker and drunker. Bloodshot eyes, stumbling around, slurring their speech. And this is a situation where the boss and the owner of the company was not on site at that moment, would not probably be there all day. And one of my coworkers called the boss and said, just to let you know, guy's drunk right now. He's drunk right now. And the boss said, oh, okay. Boss lives about 5 miles away. Jumps in the car, drives over to the workplace, comes inside, says, hey, calls the guy over, and the guy's like staggering over. Because technically speaking, the shortest distance between you and the person who yelled hey at you is a straight line. If you can't walk one of those, you know you're in trouble. And boss goes, have you been drinking? And the guy goes, yeah, just a little bit. And the boss goes, really sorry, but I got to let you go. And now that's all that happened. Nobody got hurt. But you wonder what drives someone to do that. I'm not defending her in any way. I'm not. I've mentioned before, my parents are teachers, my grandparents are teachers. I've been a teacher, okay? And people who teach are involved in a lot of things, okay? And one of them is simply, if nothing else, setting some sort of example. Because I'm standing in front of you teaching you. There's all kinds of implications there, and one of them is I know what I'm doing, and I can do it. So if I'm teaching the law, I must know the law. If I'm teaching English, I must know English. But on some level also, an adult in elementary school is teaching kids simply how to be a part of our society and be a good citizen on some level, right? And so if a teacher stands up in front of a bunch of second graders drunk, they aren't doing their job right. And I don't care if there's a rule that says, thou shalt not drink on company time as a teacher. Everyone should know that. So it sounds like she dodged a legal bullet here because of the fact that there wasn't technically a law on the books that addressed this specifically. And since nothing happened, it looks like she's not going to get charged. But I suspect that laws will be changed and rules in this workplace will change, and we'll see how that goes. So Robert and everybody else in the Senate, thanks a lot from KRCR. California second grade teacher accused of teaching while drunk dodges charges because it was not illegal. Christina Wotropski wrote that. Questions, your comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. I wish life had an undo function.